What's happening, family? This is Dr. Joe. I hope each of you are well and blessed wherever you're watching this from. I'm going to jump right into this particular presentation. This is about a subject matter that I want to talk about called eating as a discipline. Now, I know that sounds pretty strange because when you think about being disciplined in your workout regimen, maybe in the things that you do, accomplishing your goals, getting your tasks and chores around the house done, most times we don't think about eating as a discipline. When I say eating as a discipline, what do I mean? I mean that there are certain principles that we need to apply to how we eat and how we view the process of consuming calories, which doesn't necessarily mean anything more than the type of nutrients that I'm taking in to most efficiently power my body through the day. So how do we look upon eating as a discipline? A couple things I want to share with you, and I hope these principles that have taken me probably about 15 years to incorporate in my own life. I've lost more than 130 pounds, and I've kept the weight off for about 15 years. And eating as a discipline and these tips that I'm about to share with you are things that I had to learn that hopefully you can learn now and apply to your own life. All right, and the first one is learning how to never overeat. This is key. We live in a society whereby we were taught and trained since we were young boys and girls. Did you eat all your food? Are you full? We have conditioned ourselves to thinking that eating ends when we are full, meaning what? When we get to the point where we don't want any more food, we can feel it in our stomach. We can feel the distension of our stomachs. When you get to that point of eating to where you're full, you've already overeaten by an abundant amount of calories. You know, eating is about eating not to I'm feeling full, but to where I'm satisfied. There's a difference. Being satisfied and being full are two different things. A discipline in eating is disciplining yourself, teaching yourself, training yourself to eat to when you are satisfied, not when you're full. And for the vast majority of people, there should never be a meal that is more than 400 to 500 calories per serving. When you get to the point to where your calories are larger than that frequently throughout the day, in most instances, unless you are engaging within something like intermittent fasting, you're overeating. You're eating too much. You're eating too much food for your body to assimilate and maximize the nutrient transportation of the calorie that you're eating to the cells that gives you the strength, the energy, and the vitality that you need to optimize your day. So the first lesson of eating and as a discipline is not overeating. The second is never undereat. Now, when I'm talking about undereating, you say to yourself, well, that's antithetical. That goes against what you just said. But undereating in terms of nutrition. You see, most people are overfed but undernourished. If you're eating a bunch of chips, a bunch of candy, a bunch of chocolate, a bunch of sugar, a bunch of breads, a bunch of refined carbohydrates, you're under eating in terms of nutrients. The amount of food that you eat is not necessarily what's important. It's the amount of nutrition, micronutrients, minerals, and vitamins that are in your food that is going to optimize your health and wellness. So not only do I want to avoid overeating, that's volume, but I also want to avoid undereating in terms of nutrition. You want to be certain that the foods that you're consuming are whole, real, God-made foods. When I say God-made, I'm talking about foods that grow naturally, that are harvested, that enter the photosynthesis process plants. If you're eating meats, that you're eating clean meats. If it's beef, if it's pork, if it's fish, whatever it is, chicken, poultry, turkey, shellfish, whatever it is that you're eating, you want it to be good sources of not only proteins, but also of produce that are full of nutrition. Anything that comes in plastic, It comes in a package, it comes in a box. Anything that you buy in the middle of the aisles in the supermarket, by and large, are going to be things that are absent of nutrition. So never overeat, never undereat. Third, never eat too soon. You want to give your body time to break down, to absorb the food that you just gave it. Most of the individuals who have gastric gastric esophageal reflux disorder, if you've got heartburn, if you have to take Rolaids, Tums, if you got to take antacids, if your doctor's prescribing you different medication for acid reflux, the vast majority of those issues can be nullified by just eating smaller amounts and giving your body time to break down the food that you've eaten. If you eat at 9 o'clock, you shouldn't be eating again at 10 or again at 11. You shouldn't be eating a snack. You shouldn't be having something in between. When you're eating the appropriate amount of calories and you're giving your body time at least 3 hours before you're eating another meal, you're giving your body not only time to break it down, but to absorb those vitamins and those nutrients, assimilating it through the body, and then preparing the body to where it's eating again. When you're eating, you almost want to feel like nothing is in your stomach. But when here in the West, in America, we've trained ourselves to be in the mindset that whenever there is food, we're eating, we're over consuming. We're eating a muffin, we're eating a donut, we're eating chips, we're eating snacks. We're never giving the body time to absorb, to break down, and to digest the food that we've given it. Never overeat, never undereat, never eat too soon. Lastly, never eat too late. A lot of us like to feel that we're doing something. Oh, I only eat 1 meal a day. I only eat 2 meals a day. But you still have a weight problem. You're still overweight. You still can't look to the floor and see your feet. And if you're eating in that way, when you wait too long to eat, you set yourself up to do what? Overeat, consume too many calories. You don't have control over your desire to not eat more food when you're in a state of starvation. The only people who can handle their diets in terms of being able to not overeat are when you are accustomed to what it feels like to be in a fasted state. So I'm speaking for the majority of Americans, the majority of people who are living in developed countries, or people who have access to foods, even if you're in a developing country. You want to get to the point, ladies and gentlemen, to where you're not waiting too long to eat, because when I'm eating smaller meals frequently, not only am I stabilizing my blood sugar, but I'm getting to the point to where it's easier for me to not overeat. This is one of the main issues around holiday seasons. We fast on Thanksgiving, then we eat a big meal and we end up doing what? Overeating. We fast on Christmas and we end up doing what? Having a big meal on Christmas and we end up doing what? Overeating. We fast on New Year's. And then when the New Year's dinner comes, I'm from the South, and in the South, on New Year's, you eat fried chicken, collard greens, and black-eyed peas. It's almost like a thing in the Black community. I digress, but the point that I'm making is when you wait too long to eat, you put yourself in a situation to where you're stacking the cards on the side of more than likely overeating instead of eating the amount of food that you need to be within a respectable, nutritional profile. So I hope you've enjoyed this message. Post your comments and questions below. Until next time, be well and be blessed. And for those of you who will be a part of the next 40 days with Dr. Joe, be it the 40-day turn up or the journey, I look forward to working with each of you. Until then, be blessed. Peace.